This conference will now be recorded.
So in the last session, we have discussed about the trigger events. So what are the various events available as part of triggers on which we can fire the triggers, and how can we write the multiple event code inside the single trigger itself instead of maintaining the multiple triggers for each and every event, and how can we segregate the code available inside the trigger based on the event by using the trigger context variable, and what are the various trigger context variables are available inside your Apex programming we have discussed, and what each context variable will represent. How can we identify the current status of the trigger by using these context variables, and in that current context, what records that we are going to process. To identify those records, we are using the trigger context variables also, like trigger.new, trigger.old, trigger.new map, and old map. And in which event, which context variable will be available, we have discussed in the yesterday's session. Along with that, we have discussed how can we make the trigger multiply. That means instead of firing the trigger for each and every record separately, we can able to make the trigger to be fired only once, even though you are processing multiple records also. It may be one record, it may be multiple records you are going to process. For all the records, the trigger has to be get fired only once. So for that, we are using the multiplication process that can be implemented with the help of trigger context variables and by using the enhanced for loop features. Okay, now. So now let's see, okay, how can we create the triggers? Before creating the triggers, what are the various ways available in Salesforce to create the triggers? Okay, now let's see. The ways to create the triggers. Now, upon creating the triggers inside your Apex programming, we have two ways available. Okay, Salesforce provides two ways in order to create the triggers. Okay, now, so what are those two ways? First one is standard navigation. Second one is by using developer control. So whenever you are creating the triggers inside your Salesforce instance, we have two ways available. Okay? We have two ways in order to create the triggers. Okay? Now make it. Apex provides the below two ways to create the triggers. The first one by using standard navigation. Second one by using developer control. So these are the two ways are available through which we can create the triggers. Suppose if you want to create a trigger by using this standard navigation, okay, then we have to go to that setup menu, go to the build menu in the left panel, click on develop and Apex triggers. And from there, click on new button in order to create a new trigger, okay, on the specific object with the required name, whatever you want. And the two triggers are pluggable components. Okay, triggers are pluggable components. Whenever you want, you can plug it. If you don't want, plug it out. That means we can make it on, off. For that one, we are having a feature like as workflow rules. We are having here also the option activate, deactivate. If the trigger is in active status, it will be firing automatically upon doing the operations. If the trigger is in inactive status, then at that time, so it won't fire. Even though I'm performing the respective operation, even though that event has been occurred, the trigger won't fire. So that depends upon your requirement, you can able to make the trigger to be activated or deactivated. Okay. So now here in this case, whenever you want to create a trigger by using the standard navigation, we have to follow this process. Now, for example, let's go to the standard navigation. Go to the build menu, develop. We are having an option called as Apex Triggers. Click on Apex Triggers, and directly it is asking you to go to the developer console. Okay, from there we can able to create also. Now, the second one. The second navigation is purely by using developer console. Okay, with the help of developer console also, we can able to create the trigger. Okay. So now let's go to the developer console now. Click on your name on the top right corner. And expand it. And then click on developer console. Click on developer console. Screen is visible to everyone. Or else can I switch off the slide? Visible? So click on developer console. Go to the developer console editor. Click on file menu. Go to the new menu item and click on Apex Triggers. Click on Apex Triggers. Enter the trigger name inside the text box provided by the dialog box. Select the object name from the pick list on which the trigger should get created. And then click on OK button. It will create a trigger syntax to you with a default event called as before insert. Before insert will be the default event given by Salesforce by default. Write the trigger code inside the editor. Click on Control S to save the code. Click on Control S to save the code. So whatever the trigger code that you are implemented, we can able to save that code by using Control S, because in developer console we know that we don't have any save button. So we have to save the code manually by using the shortcut option that is called as Control S. Or else it will be having that auto compile option by default. For each and every 10 fraction of seconds, your code will be sending to the Force platform for the compilation. That process is available by default. Okay. So this is the way we are going to be creating the triggers inside our Apex program. Okay. Now, so let's see the practical part. Okay, today we are purely discussing the practical concept of triggers. Okay. Now, as of now, my part is over. From now, your part. Okay. You have to tell how to write that trigger code. Okay. Now, indication started. You have to start. You have to write the code from one by now. From now onwards. So now let's take a small use. The first one. So during our initial concept of fields and their properties, we have discussed that in order to make a field required, we are having 4 ways. Okay, 3 ways we have discussed as of now. Like upon creating the field, we can able to make it required by selecting the required checkbox. Second one, through page layout customization also, we can able to make the field required. That is also we are done. With the help of validations also, we can make a field required. That is also we are done as part of validation. Okay, now the fourth way we see. The fourth way is triggers. By using triggers also, we can able to make that field required. So now let's see how can we make a field required, okay, by using the triggers. Okay, now. So let me give you a small navigation, nothing but give you a small use case so that we can able to implement the trigger. For example, assume that I'm having a lead object. Whenever I'm creating the new lead record inside my lead object, okay, 3 fields are mandatory by default. Last name field, company field, status field. The 3 fields are mandatory, remaining all are. But now, I want to make this phone field and the email field as mandatory. Okay, I want to make the phone field and the email field as mandatory. Whenever the user did not enter the phone number or the email ID field value, okay, upon creating the record or upon updating the record, I want to prevent to insert the record into the object. I want to show some message to the user that please enter the phone number or please enter the email. Okay, so I want to create a trigger in order to make sure that phone number and the email ID field values as mandatory upon creating and upon updating the lead record inside my object. Okay, understood the requirement now? Let's see. How can we write the trigger for this? Let's make a note of this use case. Create a trigger to make sure email and phone fields are required upon creating or editing the lead record in the object. Whenever we are creating the lead record or whenever I'm updating the lead record, I want to make sure that lead record phone number field and the email field should be mandatory. That means if these fields are not having any values, I would like to show the error message to the people. If the fields are having the values, then I don't want to do any operation. I don't want to show any message to the user. If the fields are not having the values, then only I want to show the error message. Now, so now tell me here your analysis. Tell me on what object we need to create this trigger now. We need to create the trigger on lead object. What is the event? Then what we need to do? Before insert and before answer. That means I need to create a trigger on the lead object which has to be get filed on before inserting the record and before updating the record. Okay. Whenever the user is creating the record inside the lead object or updating an existing lead record, then I want to make sure that that lead record should have the phone, the field value, and the email field value mandatory. Okay. Now, let's see how can we create this trigger right now. Now tell me how to create the trigger right now. Tell me. Trigger, lead trigger, lead object. So what will be the events before insert and before update? Okay, right. Next. What we need to do now? First, as a step 1, we have to cross-check the trigger context. Okay, first of all, we have to verify the trigger context. That means why the trigger has been fired, because of insert, because of update. The trigger may be having some other events also. Okay, trigger may be having some more events are also available, but before insert and before update, I want to do some operations, I want to do some validations. For that one, I want to verify whether the trigger has been fired because of insert before insert event or because of before update event or not. I would like to cross check. Now, so not tell me that condition. Trigger is insert or trigger is update. And trigger is before. Now, let's follow that. Okay. Trigger So now why this condition here? Why this problem? Okay. That means what? I am inserting the records into my lead object. Okay, I am updating the lead records into my object. Whenever you are inserting the records or whenever you are updating the record, the latest data will be available in which context? Trigger.new. Okay. Trigger.new is the context variable in which the latest information is available. If we are creating new records, then those are available inside the trigger.new. If you are modifying an existing record, the latest data will be there inside the trigger.new context variable only. Yesterday we have discussed both the scenarios. Okay, upon insertion, upon updation, in both the cases, trigger.new will be holding the latest information. So, when trigger has been fired, then what it has to do, it has to validate that record will be having the phone field value or and email field value or. To cross-check I'm collecting that lead record. I'm collecting that lead records. Where is those lead records? Lead records are there inside my trigger.new context variable. So whatever the new records you are creating or updating, the latest information is there inside the trigger.new. I'm collecting the trigger.new context, and which will be a list collection, which will be holding the current context records in the form of list format. I'm iterating this collection from starting to ending. Because for every record, I don't want to file the trigger separately. I want to make the trigger multiplied. So that for the multiple records also, I want to file the trigger only once. Now, sometimes you can raise the question. Sir, I want to file the trigger only for one record. Then what we can do? Simply we can see trigger.new of 0. Trigger.new is what? Is the collection. How to get the first element? By using index position 0. So simply we can use trigger.new of 0, which contains only the first record inside the word collection. So from that we can able to do the validations in this case. Suppose if you want to find the trigger for only one time for all the records, then simply you can able to iterate. It may be one record, 0 records, n number of records. Also whatever we can process n number of records, the trigger will fight only once. Okay. So in this case, my trigger will be getting 5. If you collect all the records which you are trying to insert, those will be stored inside a collection called as trigger.new. So now from there, I'm collecting each and every record with the help of that enhanced for loop. I'm collecting each and every lead record. I'm storing inside a variable called as collection. Okay. Now, then what we can do next? Checking the condition. How? If the LD dot phone. The phone value equals to null or LD dot phone equals to empty. Okay. If the lead records phone field value equals to null or phone field value equals to empty, that means either it may be empty or null. Then what you want to do? I want to show some error message. Where you want to show the error message? On that lead record. Okay, on that lead record. How to refer the current lead record? LD. How to show the error message? For this one, we have to use a method called as add error. Okay, add error is a standard method given by Salesforce as part of trigger. Through trigger, if you want to show any error message on the record, we have to use a method called as add error. Why I'm using this LD means what? Whatever the lead record whose phone number value is empty or null, on that record I want to show the error message. That's what I'm referencing that This is the current lead record, which is not having the phone value, which is having the phone value as null. So I want to show the error message on this record, so that I'm using ld dot add error. Okay, so on the record page, it will be representing the error message stream. What message you want to display, you can specify the message. Okay, I'm indicating that. Please enter the contact number. Okay, please enter contact. Okay, clear? Now, so now here I am indicating the error message over here. Now, and then else one more. LD dot email equals to null. LD dot email equals to empty. That means if the lead records email field value is empty, then I want to show the error message. Where you want to show on the lead object here. Okay, LD dot add error. I want to show the message. Please enter the lead person email ID. Okay, I want to show the error message here. So these are the steps we need to follow. Okay, these are the steps we need to follow. When moving forward, we will eliminate this part also. We will make the trigger logicless. Logic will not be available inside the trigger. We'll move it to some other place so that we can make that code reusable. Okay, those are called as logicless trigger, which is also called as trigger handler factory. Okay, because here when the trigger has been fired, then what logic you want to execute, what business logic you want to perform, what operations you want to do, we are writing that code within the trigger itself. So, but when moving forward, we are going to be removing this complete part and we are moving this part to that class. From there, you can access that class into my trigger also. So that we can able to make the trigger will be looking right simply. Okay, even though somebody looking into my trigger, they can't understand what logic I have written behind the trigger, because I'm moving that code to the subject class. Okay, clear up to this one. Upon writing the trigger, first of all, we have to specify the trigger, and then we have to specify the trigger context, and then we have to use the trigger context variable to make the trigger multiply always, and then on each and every return we can able to perform the respective operation whatever we want. Okay, clear? Understood the concept here? Any questions still?
Sir, when you are only update to show.
Separate. So we have to write two conditions separately. Which one?
There is no except is only part of update.
Then at that time, only at the time of update, in the sense just we can able to remove this part. Yes, same one, no change. Just you have to remove this condition here. Only at the time of update only it will be validated, not at the time of insertion. Trigger will fire, but the respective block is not available. Okay, trigger will fire. If you are inserting the record, trigger will fire. The corresponding block is not available. The business logic block is not available. There is a business logic block is there, which is firing when before update. Okay, before update, business logic is available. For the before insert, we don't have any business logic. It won't fire. Any no operations. Okay. Now let's see how can we create the trigger, okay, on our object, okay, and how can we validate this one. Now let's see practically. Okay, understood the code here? Upon creating the triggers, three simple steps. Create the trigger first. As a step 2, we have to specify the trigger context. As a step 3, bulkification. Okay, these three we have to follow always. Okay. Now, so let me go to the developer console in order to create the trigger on my lead object. I'm creating a trigger. Go to the developer console, go to the file menu, new Apex trigger. Now it is providing one dialog box to you here. We can specify the trigger name, lead trigger. I'm creating the trigger on the object. Select the object name or what object you want to create the trigger. I'm selecting the object name as what? Lead object. Okay, lead object. I'm selecting the object name as lead. Click on submit. Now the trigger has been prepared by Salesforce. So by default, it is going to be indicating the default event as before insert. Along with that, if you want to add some more, you can able to add. If you don't want the before insert, if you want only before delete, you can specify whatever you want. Okay, it's purely editable. So now whenever you are observing the lead record for trigger file, this is a trigger file which has been prepared by Salesforce in which my trigger code will be getting decided. So now my file name is lead trigger. That means whatever the name that I have given for the trigger, with the same name it is preparing the file which will be having the extension .txt. That means Apache trigger. Now, so the trigger we have prepared that. Trigger name on the lead object. I would like to find the trigger on before insert and before update. Okay, I want to find the trigger on before insert and before update. Okay, now let's see how can we write this piece of code. Now, first of all, we have to verify the trigger context. Okay, trigger context. If trigger dot is before and trigger dot is insert or trigger dot is update. So upon writing the trigger code, it is not mandatory to write this before after only. Not like that. Anyway, because 2 into 3 equals to 3 into 2, same concept. Here also. Okay, no change. So now in this case, whatever the way you want, we can able to implement that. The facility is available to you. So now in this case, we are using the trigger has to be get filed on before insert or before update. Okay, now next one. The next piece of logic. For each and every lead record, LD from the collection trigger dot new. Okay, now after that, verify the condition. If lead dot email field equals to null, lead dot email equals to empty, then I want to show that message. How can we show the error message over here? LD dot add error. We have discussed about this. Now we can specify. Please enter the lead person email ID. Else case. Suppose if the lead record phone number value is empty, LD dot phone equals to null or LD dot phone equals to empty. I want to show the error message LD dot add error. Please enter the contact. Okay, please enter the contact. Now the trigger is ready. Okay, we have implemented the trigger here. Okay, we have implemented the same trigger. Okay, same piece of code we have discussed now, and the same code I have written here also. Okay. So we have created the trigger. So now we have created the trigger on the lead object, okay, which will be getting filed on before insert and the before update event. And then whenever the trigger is getting filed, I'm collecting the respective, I'm verifying the respective trigger context by using the context variables. And then whatever the records are available upon insertion and upon updation, I'm collecting those records by using the trigger context variable, that is trigger.new. I'm iterating that collection from starting to ending by using enhanced for loop. I'm collecting each and every lead record and validating the data by standard condition based on my use case. Okay. Now, so now tell me how can we test this trigger now? By creating a record. Okay, now let's create a record. Now tell me upon creating the record, okay, upon creating the record here we need to enter these values. I'm creating a record with the name, okay, first name I'm indicating like as trigger, last name test lead. Company name I'm indicating like as Infosys. Title I'm indicating like as a project manager. Lead source from bank. Industry some banking. Annual revenue I'm indicating like as some 34 lakhs. Phone number I'm entering some value. Mobile number I'm entering some value. Fax number I have given some value. Email ID I'm not entering anything. Okay, I'm making this value as blank. Website I'm indicating like as gmail.com. Rating value R. And then I'm giving the customer as a primary customer. I'm saving this record. Okay, I'm saving the record. Whenever I'm saving the requirement, trigger will get fired or not? Yes, trigger will fire. It will validate the data over here. It will validate the data whether email ID field value is empty or not. If it is empty, it will show the message. Click on save button. Trigger has been fired. It is indicating the error message. Please enter the lead person email ID. Okay, please enter the lead person's email ID. That means it is showing the error message and at the top of the page. Sometimes you can raise a question. Sir, suppose for example, in my user interface, I'm having hundreds of fields are available. So if the error message is showing on the top of the page, how the user will know where exactly the field is on my user interface? It will be difficult to search. Where is this email? Where is this email field? That will be difficult. So that if I'm showing this error message at the field level, it will be indicating a direct indication. This is the field which is expecting some value. Then how can we show this error message at the field level? But that one, upon writing the trigger code, we can not only showing the error message at the record level, we can show the error message at the field level also. In this lead record, at this email field, email dot, lead dot, email dot. That means here, so now inside my lead record, in this email field level, I am going to show that error message. Here also, at the phone field level, I am showing this error message. Okay, I want to show this error message on this lead record. Where exactly? At this field level. Because this is related to the email field, so I want to show this error message at the field level. Just to go to that field, at that place, please display this error message. Now, let me save the trigger. Let me execute this one again. Click on save button. Now it is showing this error message at the field level here. At that field is indicating, please enter the lead person email ID. For example, I'm entering this email ID over here. ram@some gmail.com. But I'm removing that phone field value here. I'm removing the phone field value. Now, click on save button. Once you click on save, it's indicating that error message at that field level here. Okay, please enter the contact number. Okay, now for example, I'm removing both also. Click on save. So now in this case, it is showing that only one error message, why not the second one? Right, because of else if condition. Okay. Now, if I'm writing like as a normal separate if condition, both the error messages will be getting visible. Okay. For example, if I'm writing like as a two separate if condition. Now let's see. We can see both, but as part of real time, this is not suggested. Okay. Suppose, for example, here we are going to be capturing the customer slowly to our side. Okay. Initially, what happened? Only 3 fields are okay. Looking like with the red color bar symbol, the customer will start off. These are the only 3 fields are mandatory. Remaining fields are optional, so that he will enter the data in the 3 fields. He will click on save button. So if you are firing all these triggers and if you are showing that all the error message at one place, the people will get shocked. Oh, these many number of fields are there in the behind which requires the values. So for that one, it is not suggestible to show all. Slowly we have to capture the customer to our side. Okay. So now as a business process here, don't show that all the error messages at one place. Okay, we have to use that else if condition. Okay, else if condition. Then when you click on that save button, user will start off, okay, only one field is mandatory. So you will enter the value inside this field here. Now I'm indicating it as email from ram@some gmail.com. So now when you click on the save button, it will be showing one more message. Please enter the contact number. You will be entering the contact number value. Okay, I'm entering the contact number value. After click on save button, it will show one more error message regarding another field. Like that, slowly we need to capture the customer to our side. Okay. So that here we are going to be using this kind of business process. Once fields are available with all the values, then only your record will be getting. Suppose, for example, now the record has been created successfully. Now I'm updating the record. I'm making this field value as okay, empty. Now when you click on save button, again validation trigger will get fired. That means what? We have created the trigger to be get fired not only on before insert at the time of before updating the record, also the trigger has to be get fired. So that here we have written the business logic inside the conditions which will be firing on both insert and update operations also. Okay, clear? Make a note of this one. Done, everyone? Written this one? People are very fast. Next one. So now here in this case, let's see one more small use case. Create a trigger on the contact object to make sure the email ID field should be required. To make sure the email ID field should be required. No. So now tell me, how can we write this a trigger code? What is that object name on which we need to create the trigger? Contact object. What is the event? Before insert and before update. Okay, before insert and before update. Okay. So now I would like to create the trigger on my contact object, okay, which should get fired automatically upon creation, and upon updation it has to verify in that contact trigger email ID field value should not be empty. Okay. If the email ID field value is empty, then I want to show the error message. Okay. So let me prepare the trigger now. I'm preparing a trigger on my contact object. I'm creating a trigger with the name contact trigger, which should be creating on contact object. Okay, contact object. Click on submit. Now by default, it is preparing the default event, that is before insert. I want to find the trigger on before update also. Now what we can do? First of all, trigger context. Trigger dot is before and trigger dot is insert or trigger dot is update. Okay, that means it may be before insert or before update. Now I want to verify the conditions. Whatever the records are available inside my collection which I'm trying to insert or update, those records will be storing inside the trigger dot new context variable. I'm using the trigger dot new context variable. From there, I'm creating each and every contact record. Contact from COM from the trigger dot new context variable. I'm verifying that. If contact records email field value equals to null or contact dot email field value equals to empty, then I want to show the error message. Contact dot email field dot add error. Okay. Please enter the contact number. Okay. Please enter the contact number. So now here I'm preparing the trigger on the contact object, which has to be get fired upon insertion and upon updation, and then it has to validate whether this contact record is having the email field value or not. If it is null or if it is empty, then I want to show the error message to the user. Please enter the contact number. the error message should be get visible for the contact record at email field level here. Okay, not at the top of the page. I want to show this error message at the field level. Now, so let me test the functionality now. How can we test it now? By creating a contact or by modifying an existing contact. So for example, I'm using this existing contact record. Okay, I'm changing this fax number value. Do we have any email ID value here? No. When you click on that save button, trigger will get fired. It will prevent you to update the record back. We need to enter that contact number, okay, email ID field back. So let me save that it is indicating that please enter the email ID. So I'm entering the email ID value. Now, as soon as once you click on the save button, record will be acceptable inside my object. Okay, clear? Understood the concept here? How to prepare the triggers? Make a note of this code. Done with this code? Done, yes or no? Next one. Make a note of some assignments here. First one. Create a trigger to make sure the lead record address should be required. Address should be required. So now what fields are there related to address in lead object? What fields are there? 5 fields are there. What are those 5 fields? Street, city, state, postal code, and then you will be having country. 5 fields. All these are 5 fields. I want to make it mandatory. If the user did not enter even a single value, so that means any of this field I don't want to accept the record. Okay. I'm indicating this note time here. All the address fields should be required. This is the first requirement. Second one. Create a trigger on the case object to make sure each case record should be associated with account record and contact record. Every case record should be associated with the account and the contact. Then what we can do in this case? Okay, account ID field and contact ID field of the case object, we need to make it as mandatory. That's it. Next, the third use case. Create a trigger on the contact object to make sure each contact should be associated with the account. Each contact should be associated with the account. This is the third assignment. Fourth one. Create a trigger to make sure the position records open data field should be required. To make sure the position records open date field should be required. Create a trigger to make sure each new account record should be in active status. Create a trigger to make sure each new account record should be in active status. These are the 5 assignments. Create the triggers on these 5 objects. Done with these 5 assignments. Okay. Now, next one. Deactivating the trigger. Okay. Deactivating the trigger. How can we deactivate a trigger? That already told you, triggers are purely pluggable components where we can make the trigger to be active, we can make the trigger to be inactive. Then by default, upon creating the trigger, by default trigger will be in active status. That means trigger will be firing upon performing those operations inside those objects. Based on the event, trigger will fire. But in some cases, I need to deactivate the trigger. That means I don't want to fire the trigger. Then what we can do? How can we deactivate the trigger here? Where we can deactivate? For example, assume that we have created some triggers. All the triggers you can able to see at one place by using the standard navigation. Go to that building menu, develop Apex triggers. What are the triggers you have created? All the triggers you can able to see at one place. So now by using standard navigation, we can able to see the triggers. So now what are the triggers we have created? These triggers are active status icon is indicating the column called as status is active. I want to deactivate the trigger right now. Simply we can click on edit button. You will be having active checkbox. There is a checkbox called as is active checkbox here, and select this checkbox and click on save. This checkbox will be visible only in the standard navigation, not in the developer console. Through developer console, we can't deactivate the trigger. Only through standard navigation only that is possible. Okay. When you try to create the trigger by using standard developer console, here you will be having the options are available. But we don't have any such option to indicate that these actions should be okay unselected. There's no such options over here. Just you can create the trigger. If you want to deactivate the trigger, go to the standard navigation, open the trigger, click on edit button and select that checkbox is active and click on save. From there onwards, trigger will not get fired. Upon inserting the record inside the contact object or upon updating the record inside the contact object, trigger will not get fired. So that here, triggers are pluggable components in Salesforce. Whenever you want, plug it. If you don't want, plug it out here. So that we can make it on, off. The facility is available as part of triggers. Okay? Clear? Now make a note of this navigation here. Deactivating the triggers. Triggers are the pluggable components in Apex programming. Triggers are the pluggable components in Apex programming. We can make the trigger active or inactive, okay, based on the requirement. Based on the requirement. We can deactivate the trigger as below. Go to the setup menu. Go to the build menu in the left panel. Go to the develop. Apex triggers. Click on edit link for the required trigger to be deactivated. And select the checkbox is active and then click on save button. So the trigger will be getting deactivated automatically. Now, in the entry point of view, there will raise a question: can you deactivate the trigger in the production environment? Production environment will not allow you to deactivate the trigger. Always it should be inactive. If you want to deactivate, we have to do it from sandbox. Through sandbox only we can deactivate the trigger, okay, inside your organization. Okay. Now we'll see what exactly the sandboxes concept we'll see as well here. During that sandbox concept, we'll see how can we use the sandboxes and how can we map the connections between the sandboxes, how to deploy the code. Okay, from sandbox to the production, we'll see practically. But the main thing is in which event, okay, which context variable will be available, that is most important. If you know those things, then only we can able to write the triggers code. Okay. Now, so take one more small use case. Now write this code now for this. Create a trigger. Create a trigger on account object to assign the annual revenue based on the industry as below. Depends upon the industry name, I want to assign the annual revenue automatically by default. I'm indicating the industry name and then annual revenue. If the industry is banking, I want to assign the annual revenue value as some 1 crore. If the industry is finance, I want to assign 84 lakhs. If the industry is insurance, I would like to assign 70 lakhs. If the industry is manufacturing, I want to assign 47 lakhs. If it is education, I want to assign 39 lakhs. If it is construction, I want to assign 20 lakhs. If it is technology, I want to assign it as 60 lakhs. That is my record. Whenever I'm creating a new account record or whenever I'm updating this account record, I want to make sure that if the industry value is equals to any one of that, then I want to assign the respective annual revenue value. Now write the figure first. Write the code. I'm not going to be giving this code. You have to write from now onwards. My part is over. Okay, only theory part from my side. Practical your side. Okay. Anybody is done? Then let me know. We are not getting the notes. So write the notes, right? At least because all the points you can't remember. But having a notebook, then at least you can write some important points also. Better to maintain a book in the pen. See, when doing point of view, they will ask you to write the trigger code. It's a mandatory thing. So it should be in a position to write the trigger code, okay, based on the requirement without looking into the codes. Mainly, whenever I'm writing the tool inside the dictionary paragraph, they will look into the first thing is they will look into the events. What events you have used, figure content. These two mainly they will look at. Very sure they can understand the code is like that. Because the people may not be having the purpose of trying to look into the entire figure code. Mainly they are looking into the events. Depends upon the requirement, these events are suitable as and they will process first. Based on the event they can understand. So the events are very, very important. Field name is simply in the we don't have just a name, simply in the CSS database. Remaining is that. So now let's see how can we write this piece of code. I'm creating the trigger on account object. Okay. I'm creating a trigger on account object. Which will be getting fired on both before insert and before update. I'm firing the trigger on both the events before insertion and the before updating the record. Now, first of all, we have to verify that the trigger context, if trigger dot is before and trigger dot is insert, or trigger dot is update. Okay, I'm verifying the trigger context first, and then upon inserting the record, upon updating the records, whatever the values are going into that object, those will be there inside the trigger dot new context variables. So that I'm collecting the trigger dot new context variable, which is a list collection, which will be holding the records in the form of a list format. So I'm iterating this list collection by using the enhanced for loop. And then I'm collecting each and every account record from the trigger.new, because trigger.new is the list collection which is holding the current context account record, because the trigger is an account object. So it will hold all the account records which you are trying to insert, which you are trying to update. Now I'm collecting each and every account record I would like to verify. If ACC dot industry equals to some banking, what is the value for the annual revenue there? 1 crore. And then else if ACC dot industry equals to some finance. For the finance industry, what is the annual revenue value? 84 lakhs. Don't give the comma. Okay, if you're giving the comma, it will show the error message, because comma in the sense say string, it's a character value. It will not be acceptable inside the numerical field. Currency is purely a numerical field. Else if for education, what is that annual revenue value? 70 lakhs. For the manufacturing, what is the value? 47 lakhs. For consulting, do we have consulting option? We have the construction. What is the value of 50 lakhs? For technology, what is the value? What is that? 60 lakhs. Okay. Any more conditions are pending? Insurance. Else if okay. So I'm assigning these values. That means what? Whenever the user is trying to be creating the record or updating the record, okay, at that time, first of all, I'm stopping the record before insertion. I'm verifying the condition here. So if the account records industry value is equals to banking, I'm assigning that annual revenue value. If the account records industry is equals to some finance, I'm assigning this value. If it is education industry, I'm assigning this value. For the construction, this is the value. For the insurance, this is the value. We are assigning the value for this particular account record based on the industry values. Okay. Now, let's see practically here. Test the application functionality. Now I'm creating a new account record. Or else you can do the testing with that existing record also, no problem. Okay, for example, I'm opening an existing record. I want to change this industry value as banking. Whenever I'm changing this value, when I click on save, before inserting the record, my trigger will file. It will verify that account records industry value. If the city is equals to banking, it is assigning the value as 1 crore. Okay. Whatever the account record industry is there, the respective value will be getting assigned. For example, I'm changing this industry to finance. Once I click on the save button, it is changing that annual revenue value. I'm changing this value to because of manufacturing. When you click on save, it is assigning that value 47. That means what? Depends upon the industry field, we can able to assign the respective annual revenue value also with the help of triggers. Okay, clear? Understood the concept now? How to write the triggers by passing the by verifying the conditions. Okay. Now let me tell you one small scenario on this one. It's a common question in every interview. So now tell me, upon creating this account record, is this annual revenue is a mandatory field? No, actually. So upon creating the record through trigger, I'm assigning this annual revenue. Suppose if this field is mandatory through validation. Okay. I want to make this annual revenue field mandatory through a validation. Okay. Now I'm making this field mandatory. You know how to create the validation rules of the subject. Go to that force.com quick access menu. Click on new button to create a new validation. I'm making this field as mandatory so that I want to create a validation rule on my account object. I want to indicate annual revenue field is required. I'm making this validation rule will be in active status right now. I'm adding the condition. When you want to show the error message, if the account records annual revenue value is empty, then I want to show the error message. So for that one, I'm using that is null. Is null of annual revenue. Okay. If this annual revenue field value is null, then I want to show the error message. This is a numerical field, so I'm using that is null. If it is a text, we can use that is blank. Okay. So now there is no errors available at this field right now. I'm indicating that here. Please enter the annual revenue value. I want to show this error message at the field level, that is at annual revenue field. Okay. I have created a validation rule. That means what? On this object, okay, on this annual revenue field, we have two things. One is trigger, second one is validation rule. Now, from this tool, which will execute first, which will execute next? Then, what will be executing first? Which will be executing first? Okay. Which will execute first? Which will execute? It's a common question in every interview. On a field, I have a validation rule, I have a trigger also. From this two, both will be executing automatically. Validation rule also firing before insert, before update. Trigger also firing before insert, before update. From this two, which will execute first? Which will be having more priority? Which will be having more importance? Now, in this case, let's see. Now click on that new button, try to create a new record. I'm creating a record over here, like some test account. Type, I'm giving some value, industry, I'm giving like some banking. Okay, I'm not giving any annual revenue field value over here. Rating, I'm giving some value. Okay. Now I'm making this active status as yes. I'm saving the record right now. Now click on save button. Record is created. Created. That means what? What happened in this case? First of all, trigger has been filed. Based on the industry name, trigger has assigned a value, then validation rule has been validated the data. By that time, validation will be having the record value is available so that it is not firing the validation. That means what? Whenever we are having a validation rule and a trigger on a single field, always trigger will be firing first. Okay, trigger will be firing first. This is the order of execution. Okay, this is order of execution. Okay, always before trigger will be getting executed first. Even though you are having the validation rules on that field, okay, on the same field you may be having the validation rules, always before trigger will be executing first. Okay, Clear? So please remember this point here. Okay, this is very, very important question in every interview. Okay. Now, make a note of it. If your field contains both validation rules and before triggers are met, then always before triggers will execute first, then it will fire the validation rules. Then it will fire the validation rules. So that always before triggers will be executing first, and then only validation rules will be getting executed first. So this is the order of execution. Done? Next one. Write one more trigger. Create a trigger on account object to prevent the deletion of an active account record from the object. To prevent the deletion of an active account record from the object. So now tell me how can we implement this one? What is that object name on which we need to create the trigger? Account object. So what will be the event name? Before delete or after delete? Before delete? Are you sure? Right. Before delete. Okay. Now, so before deleting the record, I want to verify whether this account record is in active or not. That means active field value is equals to yes or no. If it is yes, then I don't want to allow to delete that record from that object. I want to prevent the deletion of those kind of active account records from my object. Okay. Now, so now tell me then how can we write this code on this? Now, can I write that code inside the same trigger? Yes or no? Yes. Now tell me how can we write that? First of all, what needs to be done? Add that event inside your trigger. Okay, what is that event? Before delete. Next, write the respective context variable and write the business logic. Then how can we write that context variable? Trigger dot is before and trigger dot is delete. Okay, that's it. That means if it is a before delete event, that means if the trigger has been fired because of a delete operation, before deleting the record, please execute this piece of code. Now, what needs to be done in this case? what are the records you are trying to delete, where those records will be available inside. In which context variable the deleted records will be available. Trigger dot old, right? Because here we are not inserting anything, we are not updating anything, so there is no concept of new. Always that will be removing the existing records, so that these are old records only. So that we are having the deletion records will be available inside the trigger dot old. Trigger dot old is what? It's a list collection again. So we can iterate that collection, okay, from starting to ending with the help of an enhanced for loop. So I want to indicate that. For each and every account record, ACC from trigger dot old. Now, what needs to be done then? I'm collecting each and every record which you are trying to remove. Then what needs to be done? I need to verify if that account record active status is equals to yes or not. Okay, I want to cross check that. I'm verifying if ACC dot active status equals to yes. Then what you want to do? I want to show that error message. ACC dot add error. I'm indicating that you are not authorized to remove an active account. So I want to show the error message that is called as you are not authorized to remove an active account record. So identifying the trigger context is very, very important. Okay, in which event, which trigger context is available, we have to identify. If you know that, then the remaining thing will be very simple for you. Remaining concept is you are aware of already, for loops and if condition, everything you know, nothing different. So wherever you go in any program, if condition, enhanced for loop, collections, these three are the base. Okay, if you know these three, how to play with them, then remaining code is very simple. Now, so let me test the functionality now. So I'm trying to be removing an active account record. Currently, this account record is in active status right now. I'm trying to remove this record. Click on the delete button. Once you click on OK, it is indicating that validation errors while saving the record. That means there were custom validation errors encountered while saving the affected record. That means there is a custom validation. That means that is my trigger, which is indicating you are not authorized to remove an active account record from the object. Okay, you don't have the rights to delete an active account record from that object, so it is indicating that you can't remove this record. So please go back to the page again. Okay, we can come back to that record. Suppose, for example, here I'm indicating this active status as no. Okay, now currently this record is not an active record. I'm removing this one. Click on delete. Record will be deleting automatically from the object. So if the account record is active status is yes, it won't allow you to remove this record. Okay, clear? Let me place this code. Clear? Next one. So take one more small use case. Now, So let me explain the requirement first, then we'll see how to implement this functionality by our own. Okay. For example, I have an account with the name Apex account. Okay, with the name Apex account. For this account, okay, we are having that. For example, I'm making this account record as okay inactive. For this account, there is a related opportunity. Okay, there is a related opportunity. So, which is an opportunity is available? Opportunity 1. Now, tell me if I'm removing this account record. Okay, what about this related opportunity record? Will it be removed? Will it be existed inside this object? Upon removing this account record, will the associated opportunity will be getting deleted or not? Are you sure? Between account and opportunity, what is the relation? Lookup. What it will do? Even though if it is a lookup, it will be removing automatically because of the additional behavior given by Salesforce. But now my requirement is I don't want to delete that. I want to break that functionality given by Salesforce. As part of lookup, upon removing the parent record, only parent record has to be get removed, child record should be existed as it is. But Salesforce, on top of those objects, Salesforce has given some additional functionality that upon removing the account record, related contact also will be getting deleted, related opportunities also will be getting deleted. But now I want to break that functionality given by Salesforce as part of my business requirement. Then how can we do this?
Before deletion, it's not very good to change the opportunity.
Okay.
Need to change the parent.
Okay, what we need to do? Tell me your approach in this case. How to implement them? When you want to keep it as null?
Before deletion.
Okay, right. Before deleting that account record, okay, first of all, I need to collect that account record ID. Based on that account record ID, I would like to go to the respective opportunity object. I want to verify what opportunities are available which are associated with this account. I will collect all the related opportunities. I want to make that account ID value equals to null. If I'm making this opportunity account record ID value null, that means what? I'm breaking the relation between the account record and opportunity record. So opportunities will be independent over there. So in this case, what happened? Upon removing that account record, only account will be deleted, opportunities will be existed as it is. Okay, clear? Now, so let me explain that here on the board. For example, I'm having this two objects are available. I'm having my account object. Okay. On my account object, I'm having some records. So this is the ID field. This is the name. I'm having few records. 001 761. First record ID. Name is some account 1. 001 791 is the second account. Two account records are available inside my object. For this account, there are some related opportunities are available inside my opportunity object. I'm having my opportunity object. Inside this opportunity object, I'm having some related opportunity records. Okay. I'm having the ID field inside this opportunity object. Name field. It is having some other fields also, like as amount field, stage name field, close date field, all these things. I don't want all this one. Along with that, it is having the relationship field is also available inside my object that is called as account ID. Okay, there is a field called as. Okay. Now, here I'm having some opportunity records are available which are associated with this account. Now the first opportunity ID is 0067711. Name is some opportunity 1. So now this opportunity is associated to that account 1. Then what it contains inside this field? Account record ID. Okay, that is 001761. Okay. The second one, second opportunity record 006146. This is the opportunity 2. So this is also belongs to the same account. Then what it contains? 001. Because here for one account we can have multiple opportunities. For the second account there is an opportunity 006-894. This is the opportunity 3. This is associated with the account 2, which is having 001791. Okay. We are having this record. Now what we need to do, whenever I'm removing this account record, with this account automatically the related operations also will be deleting by Salesforce. Even though between these two objects I'm having the lookup association. Even though I'm having the lookup association between these two objects, Salesforce has written some additional functionality on top of this association that upon removing this account record, all the associated opportunity records will be getting removed automatically by default. Now in this case, what needs to be done? I want to break this functionality given by Salesforce. As part of my business requirement, upon removing the account record, only account has to be get removed, opportunity should be existed as it is. That is my requirement. Then what we can do, on this account object, I am going to writing a trigger. I would like to write a trigger on top of my account object, which has to be get filed on before deleting. So which has to be get filed on before deleting. So now what I want to do before deletion of this record, what I want to do. Whenever the user is trying to be deleting an account record, my trigger will file automatically. In the trigger, I want to write some piece of code and indicating the trigger. Please don't delete my account record. Please wait for some time. I have some task to complete before that. So that here I'm going to be stopping the trigger here. Please don't delete my account record. I want to do some operation before deleting that account. So that here, immediately what I want to do is, inside my trigger, I want to write some piece of code. So there, I would need to collect this account record. Based on that account record, I will go to the opportunity object. In this opportunity object, I want to verify what account records, what opportunities are available. With this account record ID, what opportunities are available, I would need to make a query. I'm querying that opportunity records, I'm collecting the opportunity records which are associated with this account. By going to the opportunity object with this comparing with the account ID. So now, with this account record here, we are having the ID as 001761. With this ID, we are having two matching records have been identified. Now what I want to do is, I will collect this both the records. I want to make this a value as. Okay, I'm making this a value as. That means what? Before deleting this account record, I'm breaking the relation between this account and the respective opportunities. So account is different, opportunities are different. So these are not associated with this particular account. Okay, these are not associated with this particular account. So now in this case here, now here I am going to be updating these values as null, so that these opportunities are not related to this account. So that here, then I inform the trigger. So let complete your work. Here I am done with it. So in this case here, we are going to be deleting only that account. It will set for the respective opportunities. No opportunities are related to this account, so only account trigger will be taken. Okay. So now this is the functionality. It is a common requirement in every implementation, in every interview also. So whenever in the final is the ask, so now how can we prevent the deletion of the respective contacts or respective opportunities? Then at that time we have to follow this scenario, which is the approach. Then they will give the paper and pen, they will ask you to write the piece of code for this trigger. Okay. Now let's see how can we write the trigger for this implementation right now. Okay. Let's see the practical part. Understood the concept now? So now tell me in this case, okay, where you want me to write the trigger, on what object? Account object, okay? On that account object, I would like to write the trigger. So let's create a trigger on that account object. I'm preparing a trigger. Prevent opportunity deletion trigger. I'm going to be preparing the trigger on this particular account object only, which has to be get fired on when? Before delete. Next, tell me. Theoretical part, my part is over. Now your part. Now tell me. First of all, trigger context. Okay, step one, trigger context always. Trigger dot is before. Trigger dot is before. Next. Okay. Then I'm trying to be deleting some account records. I'm collecting those records, storing inside the trigger dot code. From there, I'm collecting the first record. Then what needs to be done? Okay, how? Okay, yes, possible query. Okay, tell me. Select ID, name of the opportunity, account ID from. Okay. Then. Then. Okay. Then. After that, account ID equals to null. Then we have to update. Any more thing? Any more changes in this code? No, not required. It's over. Okay, right, fine. That also we can place. No problem. For example, here in this case, let's see what is correct, right? Okay. Now, I'm deleting 200 records. I'm deleting 200 records. How this 200 records will come into our record data? How many times soluble is it? How many times searchable query is it? How many searchable queries you can find? What will happen in this? Drop the number. What will database type query, what will be? Alternative. Use bulkification. The one record will find no problem. The same similar kind of code. Then do the bulkification process. What is our requirement? Okay. Whatever the account records you are trying to delete, okay, I would like to collect those account records IDs. Based on these IDs, we need to collect the opportunities. We need to make that relationship field value as null. Okay. Now, I will give you the clue. Map. Tell me how. Whatever the records you are trying to delete, those records are existing one or new one. Existing. If the records are existing one, you will be having the ID in the record or not. Yes. Instead of using trigger.code, can you use trigger.code map? Yes. If you are having the code map, will you get only the account record IDs will you get? How can we get that IDs? Only the record IDs. That key set. We can use the key set method. Through the key set method, we can collect all the account record IDs. If all the account record IDs are available, then what about the respective opportunities? Now, how can we collect all the opportunities of those accounts? By using the IDs. Assume that, for example, here I'm deleting the 4 account records. Now, those 4 account record IDs are like this: 001761, 001891, 001542, 001711. These are the 4 account records I'm trying to delete. These records are coming into my key set. Now, for this account, they will be having some related opportunities. How can we collect these 4 account records related opportunities then? Through SQL query, how can we collect? How can we use this one? What is the operator in the condition? That's it, simple concept. Enough. Don't use this for loop here. Okay, don't use this one. Select all the account records. Whatever the account records you are trying to delete, those records are there inside your trigger.old map also. Because these are the old records which I am trying to delete. That means existing records. So that record are having the IDs are available. So that directly we can able to collect those record IDs. Okay, directly we can collect those record IDs for using the key set. Now let's see. So now here in this case, you will be having the trigger.old. Trigger.old map. In this trigger.old map, you will be holding all the account records which you are trying to remove. What are the records you are trying to delete? All the records will be holding inside the old map collection in the form of a list, where it will be holding the record ID in the form of the key, and the whole record will be the value. Okay, you know this concept already we have discussed. Now what I want to collect all the opportunity records, and then I want to make those opportunity records annual account ID value equals to none. For that one, to get that opportunities, we need to get the associated account record IDs. All the account record IDs are available inside the trigger.old map. I can get these only IDs by using key set method. Now I'm having the key set method. Based on this account record ID values, okay, I'm having the account records inside the trigger.old map. From there, I'm collecting only the respective IDs of the account records. Based on these IDs, can we get the opportunity records? Yes, we can fetch that. Simply we can fetch. Select ID of that opportunity and then account ID of this opportunity value from opportunity, where account ID value in, we can specify trigger.old map key set. Okay, now what it will return is this opportunity record. If you are having the opportunity record, then what we need to do? Same procedure. Iterate the opportunities collection for each and every opportunity record of the from the collection. What we need to do? We need to specify the opportunities that account ID value equals to, and then we can able to update the collection. Okay. So in this case, now tell me, do we have any chance to cross the down the limit in this case? Even though you may be deleting some 4,000 records also, we are not using any for loop here. We are not using any table statements inside the for loop. So there is no chance of crossing the down the limit. Okay. So that's here. Don't use that examples again and again and again, because it will be iterating more number of processes. It will be impacting on the application performance. So now always the records are there inside the trigger.old, trigger.new, trigger.old map, trigger.old. Okay, new map. That means your Salesforce is already maintaining some collections in that records are available already. Just to use that collection directly. Okay, just to use that collections directly. So for that reason, whatever the account record that I am trying to remove, those records are available inside the trigger.old map also. From there we can collect the account record IDs Based on the account record IDs, get the respective opportunity record. And for those opportunity records, I want to break association by making the account ID value as. Then I'm updating the data. Okay? Clear? So now let's see the practical part in this case. How can we do this? Okay. So now here I'm collecting the account record IDs, and based on this account record IDs, I would like to collect the respective opportunities. List of opportunities. Directly you can write inside the for loop also, no problem, whatever. List of opportunity, LST of the I'm fetching the data. Select ID of the opportunity, account ID. Name column, these all are not required for me here. Whatever the columns are needed, just to fetch only those columns. Account ID from opportunity, where account ID in trigger dot board map dot is. Okay. Now, so now here I'm collecting those opportunities. Now, for example, sometimes we can raise the question, sir, for this account record, there is no at all, there is no opportunities. Then do I need to process these things here? No. Then what we can do? If condition, that's it, right? If LST of P to prevent is not empty, that means if the condition collection is not empty, then I want to iterate that collection for each and every opportunity record from the collection LST of P to prevent. I want to indicate that API dot account ID equals to, and then we can able to update. Outside the for loop, we are updating that, not inside the for loop. LST API to prevent. That's it. I will give the use case also. Let me test this functionality now. So I'm trying to deleting this account record here. Let me verify this opportunity one. Go to my opportunity object here. Opportunity one record is available. Starting with O, opportunity one is available. Now this is associated with an account called as Apex account. Okay. Now let me try to remove this account record. I'm removing this account record because it is having a related opportunity. Click on delete. Click on OK. Now my account record has been removed successfully. Let's go to the recycle bin. Apex account record has been removed successfully. Let's go to the opportunity. It is having that associated with the account Apex account. Refresh this user interface now. Go to that opportunities. Opportunity one is available. This should not belongs to any account here. So it is independent. So this record will be existed as it is. Okay, clear? Let me copy this code. Take a note of this use case. Create a trigger to prevent the deletion of the associated opportunities while removing the account record from the object. That means what? Even though there is a lookup association between those two objects, Salesforce has retained some additional functionality on top of that. Okay. Now, I want to write the similar kind of additional functionality on between my custom objects. Assume that I'm having two objects are available. Okay, hiring manager and the position, which is having lookup association. Upon removing hiring manager, only hiring manager is getting removed. Okay, position will be existing as it is. But now, upon removing the hiring manager, related positions also I want to remove. Okay, don't change the association from lookup to master detail. I want to continue with lookup, but I want some additional functionality on top of that. Okay, now make a note of this assignment. Create a trigger on hiring manager object to remove the associated positions, to remove the associated position record upon removing the hiring manager. Upon removing the hiring manager record. Okay. Try these assignments today. Tomorrow we'll see some more examples. And along with that, tomorrow we are going to be discussing about the most important feature of development, that is called as custom settings. What exactly the custom settings we'll see practically, and along with that we'll see the concept of lead conversion, automatic lead conversion process. Manual lead conversion also we'll see, automatic lead conversion also we'll see through programming. Along with that we are discussing about that, the bulk lead conversions also. Because in Salesforce, we don't have any such kind of features ready-madely to convert the lead record automatically. We don't have any bulk lead conversion features also in Salesforce. Now, we'll see how to implement that functionality by using a class called as database.lead-convert class. With the help of database.lead-convert class, how can we convert the multiple lead records as our customers through programming? We'll see practically. Okay, manually how to do, automatically how to do with the help of the database.lead-convert class, we'll see practically one by one. Okay, so do the practice on this one, and then I want everybody has to complete these 5 assignments. 5 or 6? 6 assignments. Okay, 6. So I want everybody has to complete the 6 assignments. Then only you can understand the triggers concept. Or else, because I'm going to be making the things a bit complex as part of triggers. Okay, so that will be very difficult to understand. Please try to complete that. Okay, 5 and 6 assignments today. Tomorrow we'll see that remaining part. Okay. Tomorrow.